Come on, Mike, slow down.
We are late.
My stomach, Mike. I need a ginger ale.
Get a ginger ale and nothing else.
First of all, I want to give a huge thank you to IMAX for being an amazing partner and for letting us screen movies here at IMAX headquarters because it looks amazing. And also to Sony Pictures for letting us screen the film, I don't know, a week before it comes out. So huge thank you to those guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I heard they just put the screen yesterday, so...
Yeah, this is a brand new screen at IMAX HQ.
Insane. We're blessed with bad boys. Yeah.
Big honor. Thank you.
So I got like 1,000 questions for you guys. Let me start with, so after the success of the last one, which a lot of people don't realize was like a big hit for Sony, how quickly were they on the phone with you saying, we'd like to do another one?
Actually, the last day of production, so it was the last day of post-production, we were thinking about doing that little post-credit scene, and it was 50-50. We were not sure if we were going to put it in the movie or not. And then we basically flipped a coin and we said, okay, let's put the post-credit scene in it because the test screenings were going so well. The tracking was pretty good. So, at that moment, Sony was thinking maybe we might do another one. So, and after the first week of release, then they said, okay, let's start thinking about the Bad Boys 4.
Yeah. We really thought that Bad Boys for Life would be the last one. That's why we called it Bad Boys for Life. As this was Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah. I'm so curious. So after the success of the last one, and you guys all realize, we're going to do another one, what is it like between the studio and Will and Martin and everyone and Jerry Bruckheimer in terms of coming up what that story is going to be and what, you know what I mean? Like getting the script done, what is it all like behind the scenes?
The only idea that we had or that we were playing with around was the fugitive idea. Because even though we have seen that multiple times in movies before, we had never seen Mike and Marcus in that kind of situation. So we were pitching like, yeah, it would be cool if they're on the run and they, gotta be hiding from the cops, but also from criminals. And then, during the years after Bad Boys for Life, Will was coming up with like a lot of these ideas. He really wanted Marcus to go through that spiritual awakening and to have a kind of trading places kind of idea. And we just, we thought it was pretty fresh and interesting because we didn't want this movie to be a copy of the other movies.
One of the things that and I'm not sure how many of you guys notice, but with a lot of movie stars, some do not like to lose a fight on screen. Jason Statham. Now I love. Listen, I'm a huge fan of Jason, but he doesn't like to lose. One of the things I respect about Will in this is that he is willing to deal with real human issues like having panic attacks and being human while still being like a superhero, if you will. So what is it like with Will? Was there any apprehension about that aspect of the character, or is it one of those things where he embraces it?
Well, I think Will is really, it's all about story for him, like for Jerry Bruckheimer, for us. So he really always wanted to explore the human, dimension of it and really dig into it. And for him, it was really about that friendship that Mike and Marcus have and really about the ride and die aspect. So seeing, Mike going through all these struggles and seeing, Marcus going through this spiritual awakening and he's coming back with a lesson of wisdom of life. That was really the story, and for him, the story serves everything. Whether it's the dramatic scenes, the comedy, or the action.
I'm so curious what it's like with Martin and Will on set. How much because listen, we know there's going to be action and stuff, but the reason you go to see a Bad Boys movie is the chemistry between the two of them and them yelling at each other and driving around and making each other crazy. So how much are all those scenes scripted? How much is it partly scripted and then them improvising in the moment? Can you sort of take us through that?
It's mostly the improvisation happens during the rehearsals. So you will have like a basic scene, for instance, the Chinook scene where they're sitting and they're just waiting. But then when we do the rehearsal, Will starts to come up with some idea like, wouldn't it be funny if we have like a funny dialogue at that moment? And then they improvise, they riff. and the writer he starts typing whatever they're improvising at the moment, and sometimes it's super funny and it takes a whole day, so we gotta tell them to calm down and to focus, because you gotta move on to the other scenes. But by the time you come on set, all these scenes have already been rehearsed and written, so because there's not a lot of time to really improvise that much. But usually we would do like 4 takes of what's on the page, and then after that we just go freestyle, and sometimes there are like happy accidents that come up.
One of the things about both Bad Boys that you directed is you have some really cool camera shots. I want to specifically talk about like beginning of the movie. Martin Lawrence is in the like 7-Eleven, and he's looking at the hot dog. His face is pressed against the glass, and it's a great shot, and it's funny, and it makes the audience laugh. Talk a little bit about how much is that storyboarded? How are you guys finding the shots that you're looking for when you're on set?
Yeah, we work with our DP since actually the first movie we made. His name is Robrecht Havard, and we always tell him like, yo, what can we make it more edgy or more like unique, or find an original way into the scene. For example, the opening scene, we really wanted to make it really funky, and that's why we use those wide lenses. Have the shot in, even if it's one shot, but it's in the watch. We had to make this this thing from the watch and put the camera underneath it. So we are pushing everything in the visual way to make it more unique and different than all the other movies that we've seen, and also different than what we already saw in the Bad Boys movie. Yeah,
and it enhances also the comedy. So we knew that by having Martin pressing with the hot dogs in the front, that it would be a more comedic moment or comedic scene, or like the point of view from the watch, or even the point of view of the gun. Those scenes make it's a visual style of comedy that was very important, because it's it's an action movie, but it's also a comedy.
Yeah, just to say, like the shot with the hot dog, they really made the hot dog. So everything there's more work than you think. Yeah,
it's a rig. We had actually a lot of trouble trying to get those hot dogs looking realistic. But I think it worked out on IMAX. I hope.
Speaking of IMAX, this is my favorite way to watch a movie. So I know that the premiere last night was in IMAX. What is it actually like as a filmmaker being in a theater watching your movie in like a huge screen like IMAX?
Epic.
I mean, like,
looks nice.
Look at that screen,
man. That's dope.
Yeah,
because
it's so small.
Yeah.
That's what cinema is about, feeling small.
Yeah. We never saw the movie like that, When I saw it for the first time on IMAX yesterday, I was like, it's pretty epic, We've seen it really on the small screen in conditions. So now it really looks like cinema. It looks legit. Even the poster looks cool. It looks like a Christopher Nolan movie. It's really it's nice.
What's funny is you're playing on the same screens as Nolan.
Oh. Yeah. We're getting there,
Yeah, Nolan, we're coming.
Yeah, we're coming. Inshallah.
I am curious, for fans that the people who are going to be watching this Q&A online, what are you actually most excited for people to see in IMAX on a movie screen with your movie?
We try to have a little bit that homage to Michael Bay's cinema, to Bayhem, but also to Jerry Bruckheimer films, and I think that we push the envelope in terms of action scenes with really cool, funky shots that have been inspired by video games, but also things that we found on social media. And I think that there's a moment where Will is using a rig called the Snorri cam, which is a kind of a steady cam where it becomes a first-person shooter, and that's never been used before in a Hollywood movie. And we also used drones inside in interior locations. I think that seeing the movie on an IMAX screen really gives the best experience, very that immersive action experience.
I 100% agree.
Thank you, brother.
So I love talking about the editing process because it's where it all comes together. So this was your second Bad Boys movie. How was editing this one the same or different than the last one?
I think we really went for the word flowmatic. That's something we've been saying.
Flowmatic.
Yeah, flowmatic. It needs to flow automatically. That's like it needs to really, go. And that's what we really went for during the script phase, during the shoot, even like visual style, that it just flows. And in the editing, it was really important that, it's a ride. It
Yeah.
starts and it goes till the end, and it's like, oh shit, the movie's already over. I want to see it again.
Yeah. So that's that. We had the editor Dan Lebenthal who edited the first Iron Man. So basically, the MCU started with him, and we told him the whole time, yo, he's gotta flow like the whole MCU, you know, even faster than that. And that's how he, you know, got the pace really going.
Well, actually, there was like a duo editor.
yeah, with
you know,
Asaf
Dan and
Eisenberg,
Asaf.
yeah.
So it was really, everything was duo. It was Adil and Bilall, Dan and Asaf, Mike and Marcus.
Yeah, and Asaf comes from the music video world, so you
Yeah.
know he really cuts it like a music video.
Talk a little bit about, did you end up having a lot of deleted scenes, or was it more shortening scenes, tightening scenes, or adjusting?
It was tightening a lot of the scenes, but actually sometimes he was also cutting some of great action moments. You know, we had a lot of Porsche shots. You know, really the coolest Porsche shots you've ever seen in your life.
Drone-based, or?
Yeah, a lot of drone. Really, I mean, we did a lot of donuts in Brickell Avenue in Miami. But
It's where Mark is like driving insane, and he's like
Yeah.
showing Mike like, "Yo, I can't die."
there's gonna be in the deleted scenes. But the movie was not flowmatic with that, so we had to cut it. You know.
We also had this we called it the Freaky Friday montage, where you see Marcus is getting too, really, like Mike, and you see Mike becoming Marcus, and it's like split screen, and it's really funny. But if you put it in a movie, it slows everything down, and it just takes. You see how important editing is, and yeah, sometimes it's better to tell a story one time and not two times. And we had that a lot, like double beats.
I'm just thinking about that scene already with a split screen. I'm like, oh, that would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on the DVD or
If there's still DVDs,
Right. There are.
or on the what?
on YouTube.
YouTube,
on
you know?
YouTube, yeah.
So you, in the last movie, you had a cameo from Michael Bay. And in this movie, you have a cameo from Michael Bay. And of course, when I saw him, I laughed hysterically. We'll talk a little bit about bringing him back again for a cameo. Was he game to do it? How did it happen?
Yeah, so we had a cameo of him at the wedding scene, but we cut it. So we didn't have Michael Bay anymore. And then at the last second, we found an idea to put him back in, and that was in the Porsche sequence of the Porsche scene, which was the Porsche of Bad Boys 1, actually. And that seemed like to be a nice homage, and we had to go to his house and shoot his scene in the Porsche. He was directing himself. And he was also
on the way he said, "Yo guys, can you give me a fat burger?" What was it?
It was a
Without
fat burger, cheese, no onion, because we were on the way, so we brought him 2 of those, and he was really happy with his fat burgers. So he really did a great scene for us.
No, but we are also he's the godfather of Bad Boys, and for us it was extremely important that his blessing and our honor to him is in every Bad Boys movie we make.
It's a stamp of approval.
Listen, I totally understand. I am a huge fan of Bayhem, but it is the most Michael Bay thing for him to direct himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's really easy for us.
Yeah, it's chill, it's chill.
I'm not sure if all of you guys know who Michael Bay looks like, but if you see the movie again, look on Google, watch the movie again. He's in the first third, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a moment when Mike is crossing the road. So
So the other thing is you obviously have to have action set pieces in a movie like this. How did you, is it in the scripting, talk a little bit about how you decided on the plane sequence or a plane going into a building sequence, things like that.
In the script, you mostly have a base. It's mostly the story beats that are important or the changing characters that are important in the script. And we fill it in together with our DP, but also with our stunt coordinator. And we had a great stunt coordinator named Greg Mementer, who he's coming from the Chad Stahelski, David Leitch school. So he did the crazy sequences of Atomic Blonde. He did Bullet Train. When we together, we try to design every sequences so that they're as memorable as possible. And we knew that we wanted to do something in the air, whether it was an airplane or a helicopter or a Chinook, because we've never seen the Bad Boys in that kind of situation before. And that seemed fresh to us. But we also wanted it to be very visceral and feel as real as possible, even though it is heightened reality. But yeah, that took a lot of time to design and to shoot and
for us it was really important that it's very chaotic and you feel it and you're in the Chinook or the plane, but at the same time that you understand what's happening during all all of the mayhem, and it's sometimes really difficult.
I was going to make a joke, the Bayhem.
The Bayham.
Yeah, the mayhem. Yeah. Understand what's going on in the mayhem.
Well, one of the things about what I really like about the plane sequence is that Mike and Marcus are really outmatched by Eric Dane's character, and you feel like, oh, they could lose this. Talk a little bit about the importance of having an antagonist that can go toe to toe with them.
Yeah, it's even though it's an action comedy, the villains are always real, and that's very important. That's what's present in the Bad Boys, but it's also present in that tradition of the action comedies like the Lethal Weapon or the Die Hard movies. That the villain is menacing, the danger is real, and in this case, if the bad guy is really dangerous and could really defeat our protagonist, then you feel more, you have more of that suspense aspect to it. And that was something that was also very important for Will. He really wanted to have somebody that has a credibility in a fight that he could lose. So and Eric is, without doing too much, he's already he's a super sweet guy in real life, but he can be so super menacing sweet. Just by his look. And it's a kind of, for us, it was an homage to the Victor Maitland character in the first Beverly Hills Cop. That's that kind of vibe that we wanted, but also the physical aspect.
Yeah, the only other thing I want to add is that for us, it's really important to go as practical as possible. So when we do action, and it's not like a CGI fest, like all blue screen. So we really try to do it as much as possible, with the practical and enhance it with our, extraordinary visual effects team who really killed it. But that is an important aspect for, movies like this, that it's grounded and real.
It also helps that Eric Dane, I believe he's like 6 foot something. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah, and he's like these blue eyes,
Yeah, so he could, the fights between him and Will were pretty intense, pretty cool, so yeah, great villain.
I could be wrong about this, but I think you guys were shooting before the actors' strike and then didn't finish and you had to shoot after the actors' strike. Am I?
Yeah.
That's totally correct.
So what was it like for you? How much had you shot before the strike happened? How much did you do after the actors' strike? And I'm assuming during the strike you were editing, figuring out what you needed, stuff like that.
Yeah, so we had, for the whole movie, we had 55 shooting days in total, and 45 of those days were in Atlanta, and we shot all of those days. Then we had like a week hiatus before we went to Miami. But during that week, we had the actor strike. So for 6 months, we didn't have no Miami shots, no exterior Miami shots for the whole movie. So
yeah, it was really, really difficult because you have a whole movie, but like the crucial scenes are missing, like the beginning, middle, and ending.
So basically, 2/3 of the movie, we had a sequence, interior location, and then just a title card. This happens, and then back to an interior location. So we had just 2/3 of the movie for 6 months to look at.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I'm assuming, so you were, did you edit everything prior to the strike ending?
We had basically edited the whole movie with title cards. We had tested the movie also with the title cards. Sometimes people love the title cards better than the scenes we had. So, so we know, okay, this is gonna work. But then by the time that we were in Miami, we knew really very precisely what we needed. So it was a very efficient Miami shoot that we did after that.
How was it a studio decision for the title? How did the title get figured out? Was it almost something else?
Like it could have been Forever.
Yeah. We were doubting between Bad Boys Forever or Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Yeah, but I don't know who decided in the end.
But we loved Ride or Die.
We thought Ride or Die was cool Forever because they never really say Bad Boys Forever, and we
it was like for life, forever.
So
it's like Ride or Die, and also the movie really goes about your ride or die.
Yeah, it's really about that friendship, that bond. So, but in a couple of years, we might change. Star Wars changed to A New Hope, so maybe this changed to For Life, and the other one becomes Ride or Die.
Well, we'll switcheroo,
I was gonna say if you end up doing one more, it could be Bad Boys Forever.
Yeah, so we make it extra confusing.
Yeah,
That's
do you have a word with 5?
Yeah, five for life.
I'm just thinking
Bad
about
Boys for 5.
I'm just thinking about all the Fast and Furious titles and how they can blend anyway.
Yeah, The Bad Boys maybe. That's
I actually think Bad Boys Forever is good, but I think Bad Boys Forever would be if you're doing the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's really the last one.
Yeah, the 7th or 8th, and that would be.
No, but I mean, like what is it? Because this is the fourth one. What do you think it is about the relationship and the characters in this world that has resonated with so many people that, you know, it's been a franchise now for, I don't know, 20 years or more?
I think it's a duo of Mike and Marcus. I think that regardless of what time period it is, the chemistry between Will and Martin, you just see it on the screen. We don't really even have to direct that. We just as spectators and see it happen. It's like magic. And whatever situation or world you put them in, it's interesting for the audience to see or to watch. Like, oh, we cannot wait to see what the next situation is going to be with them. And that is...
you could put Mike and Marcus in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's still going to work, you know. It's just Mike and Marcus, and that transcends the generations. And people also relate to that friendship. I think that everybody wants to have that kind of ride or die in their lives. So
yes, even that's why it's so personal for us. We feel like Mike and Marcus, like we are the bad boys of cinema. That friendship, you go to the good and the bad, you know.
I think I asked you this for the last movie. Was there any strong disagreement that you had making this one? Was there something that where you each felt so strongly about the opposite thing, or were you always aligned
Between
between the two of you?
I mean, the difference in approach maybe like you know, he's gonna be good cop and I'm gonna be bad cop.
Yeah.
And it's we want the same goal, but we don't know really how to achieve that goal or how to achieve that idea, and that's like a different way of battling. Like he's gonna be the smooth operator and I'm gonna be super harsh.
I'm a smooth operator.
Yeah, and usually he wins, you know. So yeah. It tells me don't go hardcore on this idea because we're not gonna win.
Yeah, I think we have this thing like the best idea wins no matter what, you know. So that's the golden rule for us.
When you are on set, do one of you tend to spend more time with actors and one of you more time with camera? Or does it go back and forth all the time?
I think it's really go back and forth. You know, it's really from day to day. Sometimes Adil is with the actors, I'm with the cameraman, and it can switch around. I think the biggest, you know, difference is that Adil is more on the script side and the development of our projects, and I'm more in the post production and the editing. But for the rest, it's just you know, it's just.
Total chaos.
Yeah, total chaos. But a lot of fun, you know. If you're on our sets, a lot of fun, you know.
You guys had, as you mentioned, 55 days. This is that's not a lot of time to make a movie like this. So when you were looking at the schedule, what was the thing that you were most nervous about with being able to pull off with the time and the budget that you had?
It was basically all the action scenes, because that's the thing. Action always takes a lot of time and a lot of preparation, and especially in these kind of things where we want to do a lot of practical stuff and special effects and stuff with the real actors as much as possible. Well, you cannot improvise, you cannot do last-minute changes and all that, but also on the day itself, you have to rehearse so much that you know, sometimes you feel like that you're not gonna make it, and that happened almost everything that looks cool in the movie on the day itself. We thought it's not gonna happen. Like with like the drone interior, it takes a whole day, and you got like, you know, the line producer that says you got 30 minutes. And this is it. You only got one take or two takes to achieve that. And if something goes wrong, you don't have it. And same with the snorri cam, because Will needed to operate the camera himself and doing the stunt and doing the special effects and all that. Same thing, a whole day of training. I mean, he was training for weeks, but that day, the day of the shoot, you don't shoot in the morning or in the afternoon. You shoot really the last hour of the day. So all of these scenes, it was really a fight. Same thing with the burning van. Turns out it's difficult to have a van on fire driving with an engine. Discovered that on the day, you know, like, oh, it's not possible. So how are we gonna do that? So, you know, it's stuff like that. That's always the hard. Dialogue, it was chill. You know, dialogue is eyes closed. It's autopilot basically. You know.
Yeah. Just want to say we also had second unit days, which helped us really. But yeah, much love to the crew because they really pulled it off for us.
One of the things about Jerry Bruckheimer is he's dealt with every possible situation. He's like a great producer. Can you talk a little bit about maybe an example on either this movie or the last movie where Jerry showed you why he's Jerry Bruckheimer?
Well, when you have to cut stuff, then it's really efficient.
Yeah. Jerry doesn't say a lot, but when he says something, it has such a major impact. And one of these things is definitely during the editing, where he knows like immediately this cut it out. We're like, yeah, but nah, cut it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's how he says. And also music, I mean that it's.
He has a big influence on music.
Yeah, a lot. He knows. He always tries to have like cool songs in the movie. You see that in all of his movies. So that's super efficient. And then when he says something, everybody listens to him. He doesn't say a lot, but it's an order.
Yeah,
but he's always right.
Do you think, has Sony called you, we're almost out of time, has Sony called you and said, do you have ideas for another one? Or do you think, I'm basically wondering what you might be doing after this one?
They didn't ask, specifically, but they always want to make other movies with us. And if there's another Bad Boys, it should go international in other countries, like Europe, Asia, Africa. That would be cool.
Dubai,
Yeah. That would
around the world. Bad Boys around the world.
Do you know, because when did you finish editing this? Like, when did you hit wrap, if you will, on post-production?
I think
It's not long ago.
No, it was 20 days ago or something like that.
Yeah.
It was super tight.
Yeah, people don't realize, like, a lot of the movies that are coming out, I mean, they're taken away from directors rather than the directors saying, I'm done.
Yeah. In this case, it was really, this is it. There was the very last things. If we had not stopped, then all the cinemas would be too late. You could not see the movie here on IMAX. So it was really at the very last moment, 20 days ago or something like that.
Yeah, I just want to add also, like, we all were back together making this movie, so it was not like the studio. Shout out to Tom Rotman, really was so passionate about this project. Will, us, Jerry, we were all together ending this movie, and there's a lot you want to change, but we were all like, it's time to let it go, let the baby go.
Two last things, and I'm going to let you go. One, this one doesn't have a post-credit scene. Was there any debate about putting one in?
Well, maybe in home entertainment there might be one. Yeah.
Some surprises.
Yeah. But the thing is that there was because it was so tight. There was a last thing that we didn't have time to test, and then we said, studio said, let's put it just in a home entertainment, and people will discover it then.
Okay, so this is I have so many follow-ups. And my last thing for you, do you guys know what you're going to be directing next? Are you working on scripts? Like, what's coming up for you?
Well, we're going back to Belgium to do a Belgian movie about the drug trafficking in Antwerp, which is a sequel to a previous movie we did also in Belgium. And then we just wait for what happens with this one, and hopefully, inshallah, it becomes a success, and then we can come back to Hollywood, and we'll be waiting for an email
Yes.
if we're allowed to come back.
We're at your service.
On that note, I really want to say, and I really mean this sincerely, I really hope it's a huge hit. I want movie theaters to stay open, and I'm really rooting for you guys on this one.
Thank you very
So
much.
much love, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank
Inshallah.
you. Thank you, everybody.
And obviously, for everyone here, if you enjoyed the movie, there's this thing called social media. Please spread the word. And on that note, everyone have a fantastic weekend, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.